Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Tushars update for 2023. I'm here with our race director, Barber, and director of events with Aravaipa, Dougherty. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Ready to race. Hi.
Awesome. So you guys just made the trip up there. Was it this past weekend?
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. We left super early Monday, 4 a.m., and then we were back by 8:30 p.m. the next night.
Nice.
Or 9, maybe.
Yeah. It was a long one.
Well, we figured it'd be a good idea to get you guys here in the studio, tell us some updates about what to expect for next weekend. I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. We were up there. There wasn't as much snow as we expected. There's spots. I think that's what everyone's wondering about is the amounts of snow. Mostly in the trees, small little banks. But the rest of the course is beautiful. There's a fair amount of water and streams and streams and stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we were worried about was access to our aid stations, and that's what we found was also an issue. So there are 2 gates closed between Mud Lake and Bullion and Copperbelt technically, but we're going to be able to put the aid stations behind the gates. It just won't be access for anybody but staff and volunteers. I think that's kind of the biggest change for 100K, 70K. But we're going to be able to have the aids there, and that's huge. So we can kind of go into the details of that. If we want to start maybe on the Mud Lake side, I think.
Sure.
In between Skyline and Mud Lake, it's only like a 15-minute drive, but there's a gate closed at Poison Creek, and we're going to have the aid station almost at the aid, depending on snow.
Right.
How much it thaws, probably.
Yeah, there was one big snow pile that we couldn't get through to get the aid station to the normal spot, so it has to come down the mountain 0.1 miles.
Yeah, which would only affect the 100K on their out and back. They would have to, instead of stopping in the little field, they'll go down onto the road, and there's a little pull-off there. But that's if we can't get through in the next 2 weeks. Everybody else would actually be fine on that spot. But because that's closed, we can't drive up and over the pass, which gets you to Bullion in like 15 minutes, which means now Bullion is accessed 2.5 hours away.
Correct.
It's kind of insane.
Lovely.
It's pretty wild how important the pass is. So the pass is generally sketchy. It always makes us nervous every year because when it's wet, it's clay and semi-dangerous. So the fact that it's closed is a little peace of mind, but it just creates logistics that are kind of insane driving-wise.
Yeah, this race is already, I think, one of the more challenging logistically for us organizing events.
Absolutely.
Tons of aid stations, like they're not continuous at all. They're completely separate. You have to drive all the way out, all the way back into the mountains every time.
Yeah. And a lot of times no service, so people don't know what's going on unless we have devices, and yeah. So this kind of adds to that. We were excited to get the news that they're okay with us going behind the gates because otherwise it might have been a totally different race. So, but like Aaron said, the trails are kind of amazing right now.
Yeah.
There's just beautiful streams everywhere. Everything's super green. The patches of snow just add to it. It really makes it feel like a true mountain race, and it's pretty awesome. Blue Lake is at capacity and super blue. There'll be definitely snowbanks. Like you guys will be going over snowbanks, but it's mostly like across the trail rather than down the trail. So you'll go 15 feet across the snowbank, and if we find that it's a place where it's steep, we'll do our best to cut out steps or something in those places. I think Allie and I, last time we had to do that, Jamil, I think you did that in 2019 was our last snow year.
Yeah, just over the top of the pass there.
The actual
there was
ridge, yeah.
like one snowfield that was a little sketch.
Because it's kind of steep. But most of them are in places that's like, even if you fell on the snow, it's like you just land on the snow. It's not like you're glissading down in a ravine.
Really, like the high up sketchy sections are clear wherever there was sun and exposure.
Yeah, Copperbelt. We didn't get to see everything. I bet we saw probably half the course, though. We probably saw about 30 miles between running and driving. So there'll be more snow, but with another 2 weeks, I think it'll just be fun. I think I'd be excited about it if I was one on
definitely.
the courses, actually. So, and then on the other side, that's the bigger change, and mostly for the 70K. Do you want to kind of go over that, Aaron?
Yeah, so kind of the same issue with getting up to Boolean pasture. There's was a series of gates that were closed. We can get staff access and volunteer access, but we couldn't get all the way up to Boolean pasture on the far side of the mountain because of snowbanks. So we have to combine the Copperbelt aid station, which is 100K only, and the Boolean pasture aid station, and we'll have to move that Boolean pasture aid station further down the mountain, down the road. This will affect the 70K distance. It's going to be an out and back 0.6 or 0.7 miles each way, so it adds about 1.5 miles of running to their race.
Yeah, and it is all road, but you'll go downhill, so I think it's like probably 300 feet of gain on the way back. But it's not, I mean, it's best case scenario, honestly. So I know it's a little bit longer than you guys were expecting already, but it's something.
It's bonus miles.
It means we can actually do it. So, but yeah, and there'll be snow. The pass will not open. I would be surprised if it opened even in August, but it's hard to say with weather and stuff. There were some big snowbanks up there still on the pass.
So will the runners have to run on those, like over those snowbanks, or is there like passable areas on the edges, or did you guys not make it up that way?
The biggest snowbanks are up on the pass, which aren't on the course.
Yeah.
But there are some bigger ones on the road, FS 123.
Yeah.
Going down to towards Copperbelt, where we have to have the aid station. So there are snowfields to cross. It's probably 3 or 4 feet high and maybe 20 yards long. Nothing major.
But the actual site of Boolean normally is buried, essentially.
The site of Boolean is pretty good, but both roads leading to it are impassable, and especially the one going over the pass has a glacier.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when it's not a snowbank, it's like in mint condition. The roads are in great shape. It's super dry because they haven't had monsoons. And then it's like, oh, and here's a 6-foot snowbank that goes completely across the road. So even in their section, because we did that Copperbelt loop up to the summit and around to Boolean, and so we could see the whole road. And it's not bad there. It's just not going to clear in time to get it up there. So I think those are the two biggest things.
As far as tweaks for the course.
Yeah. As far as actual runners on foot, two other big things that's going to affect is pacer access and crew access. It really is going to limit the crew access because those are both crewable aid stations, Boolean and Mud Lake, and now you can't get to either. So that really just leaves minors, which is not a big zone either, and creates a potential bottleneck that we're a little concerned about. So we're trying to figure out something there, possibly adding a drop bag at Mud Lake for people. What else?
We could do the 100K and 70K could pick up a pacer at Boolean, the new Boolean, if they wanted to be dropped off at the Mud Lake gate and hike the road.
Yes,
a few miles if they wanted to get a pacer there.
Yes, and that's what we did in 2019, and that it just adds, I think, a little over 3 miles for a pacer. So they would just hike up the road. It's on the road, so you don't have to like navigate it all. You just get on the road and hike up and over through the snow. But you could do it that way, or you can go all the way around if you have somebody crewing. Yeah,
and you get dropped off at that gate, and then it would be about 1 mile from the gate.
Probably
for
a little more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's like a mile to Copperbelt turn off.
True.
Yeah. But that's a big drive for people. So if you're not crewing at minors, like I said, it's a 5-hour round trip drive to get over there.
Yeah.
For like 60 miles. So crazy.
So crew access will be limited.
Yeah. You're going to be out there with just the runners, and your pacers can still go to those two places, to Boolean 2, and then to minors. Yeah.
Good way to see your runner might be to volunteer.
We could definitely use volunteer help.
So if you want to get out there, if you want to be up at Boolean and help your runner, you could sign up for a volunteer shift. We don't have a 1-hour volunteer shift, but you could sign up for the afternoon, the morning.
Minors would be super helpful. Boolean, I think we're there. It's like one of the only ones because Molly always takes that over with her friends and stuff. So
that one's pretty solid.
That one's
minors, I actually kind of love minors. It's a great spot to be. It's, the runners are kind of gearing up for that last climb of the day. I love being out there late afternoon at this race. It's just, there's a lot of grit out there at that point in time.
It's a cool spot. It's weird we never get it filled either, but because it's an easy one to get to.
It's
You can
beautiful,
camp
too.
out.
Yeah.
Like you can camp out the night before, night after, because you're just right there along the creek.
Yep.
It's a sweet spot.
You're done at 11 p.m. It's not an overnight shift or anything. And but yeah, Alunite, we need help too. That's another one that's huge and super pretty aid station to hang out at.
I was going to say also another great spot. It's
Crazy.
incredible back there.
That's a pretty amazing spot to hang out at. And we'll probably have a Starlink, so you'll have internet access.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was last year was the first time we really put a Starlink into action was at Tushars, and it was game changing. I remember the finish line internet went down, and so we were basically having we had the best comms on the course at Alunite.
At Alunite, which is normally the worst comms. It was amazing. We're like, can you tell me where this person is
What's going on with the race?
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that won't be an issue this year. So, yeah, that was kind of the first time we're like, wow, this really is a total game changer. Anything else? I think those are the kind of the big things that we'll kind of make sure everything's updated on the website. The maps are updated.
Yep.
We'll send an email to kind of the participants mostly about the crew pacing drop bag stuff, I think.
Yep.
Just to make sure it's clear coming into next week. But yeah, we're super excited. It's a sold out race. People on the wait list trying to get in. So if you can't make it, make a move now. Other people would love to come race, and if you can, we'd love to see you.
Are there still people getting in off the wait list at this point, or is it kind of?
It's really kind of stalled
Yeah.
at this point. So maybe a couple over the weekend. But
Did you guys want to
Yeah.
go over the maps at all, or is that something you'll do at a later point, or not necessary?
I mean, you could show them kind of just if you want to zoom in on that to show the.
I think we can pull it
out
up
and
on
back,
screen
or
here.
like where bullion pasture normally is, and then now what you do.
So this is the 70K map, the one that will be affected the most. And you can see right at the top at the north side, it says Bullion/Copperbelt Combined Aid Station. That little out and back is where we had to move it down the mountain.
You zoom around.
Zoom.
You can show like Blue Lake on the left down at the bottom there.
Yeah, so the runners are going to come up from Blue Lake, climb about 2.5 miles. On a normal year, you would just bypass the out and back.
Can you zoom in more actually and show or no? The little white road is the main road that's closed. And then there's a little person actually at the very bottom there. If you go up a little bit. So there's a little person there. That's where there's like a little portable restroom there, or a permanent restroom.
Yep.
That's where the aid normally is. And you run down the blue mark that leaves the screen. And now you got to go up the road. Down the road. Technically, it's
Hit
downhill.
north
on the road,
Yep.
exactly, yeah.
Hit the aid station, turn around, and then climb
Yeah.
right back up. And like I said, it's about 0.7
Yeah.
each way, so about 1.5 miles
And
extra distance.
it does affect, I guess, the 100K in that there is no Copperbelt aid at the bottom of the hill. So it's a farther stretch from Bullion to the top of Copper and back. So that would be another factor for the 100Ks is you need to really gear up at Bullion because you're about to climb 2,000 plus feet.
Trying to pull up the 100K.
And I think that puts it just over 10 miles right now.
It's
round trip.
10.9.
Yeah, okay. With a big climb.
There is a creek that's flowing. Filter too.
Yes. Yeah, with all the streams and stuff, if you have a filter, you could definitely benefit from having a water bottle that filters because there are streams on almost the entire course. You'd be able to find something.
Then this is the 100K map. So we're going to go right back to that same location. 100Ks always had to do this out and back. The change for them is they're losing an aid station. So like we said, the aid station, after you come up from Blue Lake, you're going to climb this 2.5 miles. The aid station is usually right here at this junction. And then there'd be another aid station when you turn off the road over here.
Yeah, almost in Beaver Creek is where the aid normally is.
And now they're combined to this Bullion and Copperbelt aid station.
Kind of splits the difference.
Splits the difference.
Yeah, we did the same thing in 2019, and it seemed to be fine. It's just a little bit longer for those runners, for both, I guess. But it doesn't add mileage for the 100K. It just adds mileage between aids.
Yep.
Anything else?
As far as maps, that's about all to go over.
I think that's it.
Cool.
Anything else?
That's all I can think of right now. The rest we'll have a runner email with details.
Yeah, we'll send stuff about camping if you have a permit. There's RV and camping passes, which are right at the start finish, but the resort actually handles that stuff. So we send you an email showing like, hey, I paid for 2 nights or I paid for 1 night, and then they'll direct you where you need to go. So that'll all be on arrival on Friday for you guys. And then pack a pickup and the meals and everything else. So yeah, we're excited.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else either. I guess let us know if you guys are watching this. Let us know in the comments if you're coming out. If you have any other questions, and feel free to reach out to the team. Other than that, yeah, we're pumped for another year at Tushars.
Here we go, baby.
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be pretty sweet. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.